Hello, thank you for taking the time to watch this presentation. As I did last year, I am pre-recording the presentation typically done during the annual PTCC meeting to save time for questions, allow more time for necessary business items, and shorten the time needed for this year's virtual meeting. This presentation provides a review of the 2021 year and attempts to provide some projections for 2022. While not comprehensive, this should give a good sense of the accomplishments and activities completed and what to expect in the coming year. As always, I'll begin with a brief discussion of the growth of the compact since our first annual meeting in 2017. After we met the threshold of 10 states in May of 2017, we added a few more states to have a total of 14 states represented at our first annual meeting. These states were our pioneers, the ones that were integral in helping us establish our foundation, processes, and governing documents. Although at that point, we were still months away from issuing our first compact privileges. Fast forward to last year's annual meeting that found us in the midst of a global pandemic in our first annual meeting that was virtual. At this time last year, we had 28 states in the PT Compact, with 20 states actively issuing and accepting compact privileges, despite many states only focusing on COVID-related legislation and ignoring pending compact legislation. And this is a look at the map as it stands today. The PT Compact now consists of 34 jurisdictions, not just states, now that the District of Columbia has joined, with 25 of those jurisdictions actively issuing and accepting compact privileges. Stated a different way, the PT Compact had 5 jurisdictions become active in the compact in the last year, and 6 new jurisdictions joined the compact. As you look at the map now, it is clearly dominated by compact member states and becoming the norm, not the exception. In fact, the PP compact legislation was introduced and considered in 6 additional states in 2021, which bodes well for the future and something I will discuss later. As you can see on the previous map, there are still 9 jurisdictions that have joined the compact but are not yet accepting and issuing compact privileges. These states are busy working to implement the requirements of the compact before being able to be active. While there are several items that need to be completed during the implementation process, there are a few items that usually are the biggest hurdles and can cause the most delays. These hurdles are typically getting approval from the FBI to get fingerprint-based criminal background checks, getting approval for and setting up weekly data sharing, and drafting and adopting new rules related to the compact. The timeframes to complete these items vary from state to state, and oftentimes are dictated by outside agencies and long-standing policies which are out of the state board's control. Thankfully, the compact member state boards and their staffs are excellent and have been pushing to get all aspects of the implementation completed as soon as possible. In consultation and cooperation with the PT Compact staff and sometimes the chair of the compact, the states have been able to successfully identify and work through several issues over the past year that will hopefully smooth the path for future compact state success. Previous work with states has helped to reduce the implementation time to be at the shorter end of the typical 8 to 12-month period. Several of the jurisdictions in the implementation process are expected to be ready in the near future, and I will discuss that further when I cover the future projections. This chart compares the number of compact privileges issued by year since the first privilege was issued on July 9th, 2018. As anticipated, as more compact states become active, the number of compact privileges dramatically increases, representing the increase of number of eligible PTs and PTAs as the number of states that are accessible to them under the compact also increases. We've seen the number of privileges issued in the last year go from an average of about 200 per month to an average of approximately 270 per month. Most importantly, this chart demonstrates the consistent growth that the PT Compact continues to experience during just over 3 years of actually issuing compact privileges. There are a total number of compact privileges issued including initial, renewal, PT, and PTA represented in this chart. The next few slides, I'll break down the 2021 compact privilege numbers in more detail. As we continue to add more states to the compact, the volume of compact privileges issued in each state also continues to rise. In blue, you can see the 12 states that have issued more than 100 compact privileges so far this year. There are another 7 states that have issued more than 50 privileges so far this year. I'd also note that 2 of the states in green, Delaware and Maryland only began issuing compact privileges within the last few months. By comparison, last year at this time, only 6 states had issued more than 100 privileges in the same number of months. Please note that several of the plus 100 states not only have large populations, but also share borders with other active compact states. I'll be providing more detail on that shortly. First, I'll break down 2021 compact privilege issuance by state by type. Please note these are numbers of compact privileges, not individual PTs or PTAs, since many individuals hold multiple compact privileges in various states. I'll discuss those numbers in my later analysis. The next 2 slides show the number of PT and PTA privileges that were issued in each state for the first 3 quarters of 2021. I'm not going to discuss each state, but feel free to pause the video to take a closer look at the states you are most interested in. Also, this slide deck will be made available to interested compact states after the annual meeting. Several states use the information provided in the presentation last year to update their respective member state boards, which I encourage you to do. Here are just a few highlights. Washington continues to lead all states in compact privileges issued with 221. However, this year, Virginia overtook Texas and Colorado to come in second with 198 privileges issued so far, though Colorado and Texas still have 186 and 176 respectively. Tennessee and Texas are still issuing the most PTA compact privileges at 39 and 38, but North Carolina and Georgia are close behind with 36 each. In total, there have been 1,972 compact privileges and PT compact privileges and 471 PTA compact privileges issued so far in 2021. In other words, approximately 81% were PT privileges and 29% were PTA privileges. Next is a look at how many compact privileges were issued based on home jurisdiction. Again, this is not the number of individuals, but rather the number of compact privileges issued based on the individual's home state, since one individual may have gotten more than one privilege for another state. You can feel free to pause the video to look at the specific states while I provide some of the highlights. This table demonstrates the value of the compact provides to licensees with permanent residence in your jurisdictions. For example, licensees in Texas have sought more than 400 compact privileges in other states, while North Carolina home state licensees have sought nearly 250 compact privileges in other member states. These numbers represent the increased mobility and portability in the physical therapy profession, which is why the PT Compact was created. The next 4 slides show how compact privileges were issued between states in the first 3 quarters of 2021, with the left column representing the compact privilege state and the top row representing the home state of the licensee getting the compact privilege. These tables help to show the strong correlation and interest in compact privileges between border states, and the fact that not all compact privileges have to be between border states or even in the same region. For example, if you look at Iowa in the left-hand column and look over to where it intersects with Nebraska from the top row, you can see that of the 85 compact privileges issued by Iowa so far this year, 44 of them were to licensees with the home state of Nebraska. Similarly, if you look at the compact privileges issued in North Carolina, you can see that some of the highest numbers of privileges issued were to licensees with home states of Tennessee and Virginia, but it also had a high number of compact privileges issued to Texas licensees. As always, feel free to pause or rewind to get a closer look at any of this information. Interestingly, Here, the table shows that Texas actually issued more compact privileges to North Carolina home state licensees than the other way around. Also, there was a large number of compact privileges issued by Oklahoma to Texas home state licensees, but a much smaller amount were issued by Texas to Oklahoma home state licensees, despite being border states. Finally, as expected, there is a large number of Washington compact privilege holders who have a home state of Oregon and vice versa. But as you can see, there are Washington compact privileges issued to licensees with home states from across the country, with the only exceptions being Arkansas and Montana. I want to finish up the discussion of the 2021 compact privilege issuance with some bigger picture analysis. As you can see on this slide, the overwhelming majority of compact privileges have been initial issuances. Specifically, 332 were renewals and 2,111 were initial issuances, meaning only 14% of the total can be attributed to renewals. New Hampshire and Tennessee have the highest percentages of renewals among the 24 states at 32% and 30% respectively. We have found this to be a consistent trend over the past couple of years and have done some surveys to try to determine why this is the case. Though we only have anecdotal evidence, the nature of compact privileges and the fact that a significant number of travel physical therapists have seen the value in the compact may be causing the privileges to be needed only for limited periods of time. And then once the position or job is no longer held, there's no need for the privilege holder to keep the compact privileges or something they can easily get again if they need in the future. So they let them lapse. Some further analysis shows that 2,443 compact privileges issued in 2021 were issued to a total of 1,772 individuals. That means 1,369 PTs and 403 PTAs had multiple compact privileges, held multiple compact privileges, whether PTs or PTAs. In fact, there were 271 PTs with more than one compact privilege and 51 PTAs with more than one compact privilege. A little deeper analysis shows there are 5 PTs with 10 compact privileges each, 2 PTs with 11 compact privileges, and there are even 2 PTs with 20 compact privileges. For PTAs, the highest number of privileges held by PTA was 6. As we increase the number of states and the number of compact privileges, we can use data and analysis like this to help us better understand who is getting and using compact privileges and more strategically communicate and market to them. Now I'd like to turn to a discussion of compact privileges over the past 3 years. As I did last year, I'm providing a breakdown of all the compact privileges issued between July 9th, 2018 and September 30th, 2021. The tables in the next 12 slides show the year-to-year compact privilege issuance in each compact state compared to the licensee home state. I'll move slowly through each slide so you can pause if you want to look at them in more detail. And then at the end, I'll provide some highlights. A few things I will point out from the previous tables. The highest number of compact privileges between states, as expected, have been issued between border states. For example, there were 180 issued for Washington to individuals with the home state of Oregon, 158 issued for Iowa to individuals with a home state of Nebraska, and 104 issued for Oklahoma with a home state of Texas. If looked at by home state, it appears that the most compact privileges have been issued to individuals with a home state of Texas, with a distant second going to Tennessee home state licensees. I encourage you to go back later and look at your state to better understand where privilege holders are coming from, where your licensees are getting privileges, and how your home state is trending. Here are the totals for each state by year. It's important to note that not all states began issuing compact privileges at the same time, with many, in fact, starting in the middle or toward the end of the calendar year. Please note these numbers include both initial and renewals, and only through September of this year. It appears that Washington, Texas, and Colorado have had the most compact privileges issued for their states since being live in the compact. Washington and Texas, each with over 500 compact privileges, and Colorado at nearly 500. This table also more clearly demonstrates the growth trends overall and for each individual state. I also want to provide a little further breakdown of overall compact privilege numbers. Table and graph show the same information, just represented differently. As you can see, the total number of privileges continues to grow for both PT and PTA privileges, with renewals and PTA privileges continue to be about 19% of the overall on average. The compact privileges were issued to 2,642 individual PTs and 838 PTAs, again demonstrating that there are PTs and PTAs with multiple compact privileges. While these numbers are good as we work as a commission, we still have work to do in order to make sure to increase the numbers of compact privileges issued so that the commission can make enough revenue to be self-sustaining. To that end, I'm going to move on and discuss the various activities that have occurred during 2021 to help us move forward and reach that goal. As always, the PT Compact Commission, Executive Board, committees, staff, and partners at APTA and FSPPT have done a lot so far in 2021 to move the organization forward to help achieve our goals on many fronts. Since our last annual meeting, 5 more states, Delaware, Georgia, Maryland, Montana, and Ohio, have begun actively issuing and accepting compact privileges. This does not happen overnight and is in large part due to the work of the licensing boards and their staff. In some states, months and months of roadblocks were finally overcome through hard work and persistence. The newly active states are located in important areas of the country that are underserved and or border several existing compact states. Thanks to everyone who helped get these states live during the past 12 months. As mentioned earlier, we had 6 new jurisdictions join the compact since our last annual meeting: Alabama, the District of Columbia, Indiana, Kansas, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. As most of you know, the passage of any legislation requires the support of many people and organizations. This legislation is no different, and once again, we relied on our friends at the APTA to rally support from their state physical therapy associations and the staff of both APTA and FSPPT to provide letters of support and education to legislators in those states. I'll address the legislative outlook in more detail in a few minutes. Early in 2021, we also began the process of reviewing our website to see how it could be improved. This took the form of surveys of existing compact privilege holders familiar with the website and individual user testing with PTs and PTAs unfamiliar with the ptcompact.org website. The results yielded a list of large and small improvements that were recommended to make the website more user-friendly and the process more easily understood. Some of the simple changes were immediately implemented. However, several of the improvements included a change of the general menu structure of the website required engaging the services of a website developer. I am happy to report that as of the recording of this presentation, all the primary recommendations to improve the website have been implemented. These changes should provide a much more navigable and informative website. I encourage everyone to visit the upgraded site, especially the improved map. We are also planning to make improvements to the user verification and purchasing process, but that is contingent on the implementation of the new FSPPT data system, which is still in progress. The Compact Commission continues to engage in market research with existing compact privilege holders through consumer surveys to gain a better understanding of what drives the interest in the compact and how we can better explain the value of the compact. In addition, in the last few months, our friends at the FSPPT have generously engaged a marketing research firm to assist in further analyzing the entire available market and determining the best strategy for reaching PTs and PTAs who could benefit from using compact privileges. This research is being finalized to share with the PT Compact Executive Board and LACASO to determine the next steps that will give the Commission a boost it needs to dramatically and quickly increase the total number of privileges issued. I look forward to sharing more on this with everyone in the coming months. Regular outreach and communications continued in 2021. Although we were unable to participate in traditional events such as the APTA CSM, we did conduct webinars for staffing companies, the state associations, and we presented for a class of PTs at the University of Missouri again. Communication with the public continued with regular email updates and publication of the 2020 annual report. As always, our committees continue to do wonderful work and are truly the heart of this organization. In the past year, the Executive Board continues to have frequent meetings to monitor and discuss the operation of the Commission. The Rules and Bylaws Committee has provided several thoughtful amendments to the governing documents after much discussion and revision. And our Finance and Elections Committee are working to make sure the future of the Commission is solid with financial oversight and a slate of excellent candidates for your consideration at the 2021 annual meeting. In addition, a new compliance committee was recently established whose members are already hard at work. This leads me to the last item. Since there has been a major focus on compliance in 2021, I want to spend a few minutes diving into exactly what has been done and what the results have been so far. In the beginning of 2021, a small task force was established by the Executive Board to review the compliance requirements for compact member states in an effort to formalize the compliance process and ultimately improve the data and information received from states by working with the state board staff. As part of this process, the task force developed a formalized compliance process and determined a standing compliance committee should be established. New policies and bylaws were drafted that officially institute these items and will be presented to the full commission for consideration and final adoption at the annual meeting. Importantly, the new compliance process and compliance committee provide for a mechanism to work with each state to make sure they are aware of the compact requirements and to work closely with the states to reach full compliance as soon as possible. As part of the new effort, quarterly compliance reports focused on 6 key compliance factors are sent to each active compact state for their review. The focus is only on active states, since some of the requirements cannot be implemented until after the state has gone live. Each state is asked to provide a plan for remediation if necessary. The Compliance Committee will also meet quarterly going forward to review the compliance reports and, if necessary, meet with states to discuss possible hurdles to compliance and options for overcoming them. The key compliance factors that are considered are all required under the PT Compact legislation and associated rules. These requirements are essential to the effective operation of the compact and the ability to make sure that only those who meet the eligibility requirements are allowed to get compact privileges. In addition, these enhanced reporting requirements, some of which are specifically only allowed due to the compact, greatly improve public protections by increasing information sharing between states and ultimately creating one universal database for all PTs and PTAs throughout the country. So what have been the results of the effort so far? Though the compliance process has only begun in earnest this year, there already have been some great results. Here's a comparison of the compliance reports at the end of 2020 compared to the most recent results at the end of quarter 3 of 2021. As you can see, there have been improved results in all categories. We have nearly all active states sharing their licensee data with no lapses, and the one exception has since been resolved. All states are reporting disciplinary data and have 6 states regularly meeting the 2-day initial reporting requirements, and 13 states meeting the 14-day finalization requirements, with many others coming very close to meeting those requirements and now actively working to change their processes to more quickly enter the DAs into the system. We have also seen an increase in the number of states using the encumbrance flag to help make sure people with outstanding fines or other significant non-reportable issues cannot get compact privileges. It is important to note not all states have encumbrances to report, so it may not apply to all the 24 active states. Although this chart makes it appear that only 2 states are flagging investigations, there are actually 19 states currently flagging investigations, but most states are working to adopt processes that will make sure that the flags will be added quickly enough to meet the requirements. Finally, we have seen an increase in the number of states that have been able to transition from the use of the Social Security number to the FSPPT ID. The remaining 13 states are making plans to upgrade their databases and or budget for the work in the near future. Though small in some cases, these improvements over less than a year are encouraging. More updates will be provided as we move forward, and I look forward to working with everyone to help make sure every state is in full compliance very shortly. I'll close the report on 2021 with a quick measurement against our goals and projections from last year. We have 34 member states, which is very close to our goal that we set last year of 35. Unfortunately, we fell short of our goal of 30 active states, but may yet get a couple more before the year's end. Finally, as of the end of the third quarter, we have over 2,400 compact privileges issued. While it will be difficult to get to the projected 3,600, I'm hoping with recent addition of 3 new active states, we may get close. Now I want to take a few more minutes to discuss the projections for 2022 in terms of the legislative outlook and the strategies and initiatives. While it is always difficult to be sure when a state will have implemented all the requirements and be ready to be active in the compact, here's what is anticipated at this point in time. It seems most likely that DC, Kansas, New Jersey, South Carolina, and Wisconsin will be active by the end of the first quarter of 2022 or shortly thereafter. The other states in light blue are still working through issues such as FBI approvals, rules adoption, and legislative changes that will likely prevent them from being active until later in 2022 or early 2023. As I look forward to 2022 legislative year, I want to first mention again that while not all compact legislation introduced in 2021 was passed, there were several states where it made further progress than ever before. In states such as Nevada and Michigan, the bills were considered and approved by several committees and even chambers, only to be stymied at the last minute. At 34 member jurisdictions, the PT Compact only has a few states less than the Nursing Compact that has been in existence for more than 20 years. We are now dealing with more states that will be more challenging and require more work to get legislation enacted. Gaining introduction and eventual passage of any piece of legislation is difficult, to say the least. But with each passing year, the further education done with legislators and the increase of compacts for various professions, the portability of that all jurisdictions will the possibility of all jurisdictions eventually being part of the compact increases. In 2022, there are several states that have shortened sessions or no sessions at all. Therefore, Connecticut, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island look most likely to introduce in 2022, with Minnesota, Nevada, New Mexico, Vermont, and Wyoming possible for 2023. Here are some of the initiatives and activities we are looking at for 2022 in order to advance the compact. As I stated earlier, while we have made significant progress since we started in 2017, there is still much work to be done to meet our bigger goal of becoming self-sustainable. In order to do this, 2022 will have an increased focus on identifying ways to increase the awareness of the PT Compact and best market to individuals who can benefit from the compact. We will continue to work in the area of compliance, and as common issues are identified, resources will be developed to assist all compact member states be aware of their requirements, implement them consistently, and provide ongoing training to new board staff. The same is true for implementation process. After working with 25 states to assist them in implementation, more resources can and will be developed to make the transition easier for new states, reduce the overall implementation period, and demonstrate to states that may be resistant to the compact for fear of additional burdens that the compact can be implemented with much less time and cost than anticipated. We will also look at additional resources that can be provided to states, those states that are not yet part of the compact, pre-compact, if you will, so that we can anticipate their concerns and arguments prior to legislative sessions and hopefully avoid problems once legislation is introduced. Finally, as the new FSPPT database system is rolled out, improved functionality will be implemented for both compact privilege seekers and the compact state boards themselves. As I close, I want to again set out some goals and projections for 2022 on which we can judge ourselves as we come together again next year. I believe we should be working together towards achieving 36 compact member states, at least 30 states issuing and accepting compact privileges by the end of 2022, 4,000 plus compact privileges issued by year's end of 2022, and a significant increase in exposure of the PT Compact to the physical therapy profession that will drive interest in compact privileges going forward. I look forward to providing a report on our progress at the end of 2022 at the 2022 annual PT Compact Commission meeting. Thank you for your time and attention.